experts in an open data format.
Sorry, please continue.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, please continue.
Yes. And the second is by providing advanced services such as energy disaggregation, demand management, and embedded blockchain contracts in our devices for enabling peer-to-peer energy transactions. Our competitive advantage lies in the design of our edge device that reflects 20 years plus of experience in designing embedded systems. We also offer faster scalability with a more industrialized and open product. Our leadership team combines, I would say, vast experience in technical and business aspects of high-tech industry. Key markets of expertise are embedded systems, telecommunications, infrastructure, and telco operators, where they have held top leadership positions. And especially for the embedded systems, the expertise of the team is quite extensive in designing and managing also large manufacturers for production of millions of devices for customers such as HP, 3Com, and Cisco. There are important customers worldwide that trust Meazon. We are recognized by the US Department of Energy as the only technology meeting their specifications for electricity digitization in buildings. We recently concluded successfully the second phase of this challenge, GSA building in Denver. In the beginning of 2022, we signed a $1 million contract for providing smart street lighting as a service here in Greece. And furthermore, we are the preferred partner of Aedes in Portugal and LightSource in UK. We are a company of around 20 people, mainly R&D and product development, have received VC financing of around 3 million and about the same amount in EU and R&D grants. We expect our sales to grow exponentially in the coming 2 to 3 years because we see that the industry is asking increasingly more and more of our solutions. We are particularly proud because today we have more than 10,000 units of our products installed in commercial installations worldwide and around 15,000 contracted under production to be installed in the coming months. We are currently fundraising for 6 million euro to enter new markets, especially capitalize on our success with DOE in US, shield our company against global semiconductor market fluctuations, improve our production capacity, and of course our internal organization, and continue with our R&D activities. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jonas. Now we will ask our jury members to set questions that interest them regarding your pitching speak. Please, Mr. Vladimir Pavlovich, go ahead and ask your questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Can you tell us a little bit about your potential competition? Is someone else doing the same, similar thing? And what is maybe the size of the market that we are entering in?
I would say that this is a relatively new market. We are talking about the energy as a service market. I would say that producing smart energy management devices, edge devices, is something that is now picking up, and even the large companies like Schneider, ABB, and Siemens are not there yet. We believe that we have an advantage there because we've been, as I said, working more than 7 years on this area, and we have developed products which are kind of a third generation. Of course, we are a small company, but I would say that the large companies like that are willing will play a role in the energy as a service market, which will be huge in the coming years. We would see them as more of as our partners, potential partners. I mean, companies that would be strategically interested to use our technology, which is, as I said, smart edge devices plus cloud, to really strengthen their offering or offer it to their customers and their existing clientele in order to to provide new energy value-added services. Now, I have a slide about the energy as a service market.
I'm sorry, we only have 5 minutes for questions and
Okay,
answers.
sorry. Yeah.
Finish the sentence.
I was saying that I have a slide that I don't have it right now about the energy as a service market, growth, which is huge. Like, if I remember it, kind of 150 billion until 2017 or something, but I don't have it in front of me right now.
Thank you. What is the first milestone for you to reach at this moment, and what is the investment that you need to reach it?
As I said, our new and great milestone is to enter new markets, especially the US market. And what we're trying to do is to capitalize on our success with the US Department of Energy. That we've been working for the last 5 years. So we have a proven technology. What we're trying to do now is to see how we can enter this market with a technology that already has some reference to capitalize on.
Yes. Thank you very much. Mr. Alexander Bielic, please, can you ask your?
Yes, Yanis, thank you for a great presentation. Just a quick question. How does your service align with the third package of European Union and the grid market codes and grid market manipulation with energy? And the second part is, what is your exit strategy? How do you see with these 6 million euros that you're funded to raise? When will the investors see the return on investment, and what is your exit strategy?
Okay. First of all, it's very relevant with the smart grid strategy of the European Union, because the whole idea of flexibility is based on technologies like ours. I mean, our technology can really deal and is the main instrument and tool required in order to implement this kind of strategies. As I said, flexibility, demand response, and also introducing batteries and electric cars, etc. So we're very, very relevant. Exit strategy, if you mean personal, because I don't understand what you mean. It's we plan our strategies to really grow the company with the strategic investors and start really becoming larger and larger. It's not like
I understand, but the thing is, I'm asking from an investor perspective. We invest 6 million euros to our company.
yes.
When can we see the return on this investment?
Look, according to the plan, in the 3rd or 4th year, we will have a positive EBITDA, and we believe that from there onwards, we will have profits.
Mr. Jonas, thank you very much for your presentation. We have to move on. The next presentation will be live by Mr. Ivan Smailovic from SG ISOTECH. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. While we are waiting 2 minutes for the jury to evaluate your pitching speech, I asked Mr. Ivan Smailovic to prepare for his speech.
Hello.
Mr. Smilowicz, please go ahead. Your 5 minutes are starting.
Where should I point to change the?
We don't have a pointer on that.
Yeah,
side.
but where I change the slides. Hello, my name is Ivan Smilowicz. I am the CEO of SG ISOTECH from Pančevo here in Serbia. Our innovation is connected to food authenticity. And as you can see, yes, but is it authentic? So I will forward to the next slide. The market. There is a huge demand for food authenticity testing today, not only in Serbia, but worldwide. And we are targeting actually everybody, producers, producers associations, inspections, customs inspections, border controls, then retailers, certification bodies, everybody who is connected to quality control of food. What we provide, this is information which is very important and critical for making decisions when you go into trading. And our competitive edge is that we have sharp edge technology, unique in the world, which is already accepted by, you will see it in next slides, by a scientific committee at the global level. We can scale this concept worldwide on a global level because we have patents in over 30 countries in the world, and we have already pending the next generation of patents, and we have actually 5 new generations of patents. So this is what we are doing. Actually, we can detect authenticity of wine. We can detect chaptalization, addition of sugar. We can detect dilution of wine. Is it after fermentation in final wine or before fermentation? We can do authenticity of honey. This is a really unique method which can detect not just syrups from C4, sugar syrups from corn, but we can, the first in the world, we can detect C3 sugar syrups additions. Then we can provide, as you can see in these graphs, authenticity of fruit juices, food concentrates as a raw material for production in fruit industry. Then milk authenticity, is it fresh or is it reconstitute? And also we have applications for whiskey, for example. And there are lots of more applications, but there was not enough space on this. So what at this moment, what the world is doing is NMR. You can see the graph to the left. It is accepted by European Union, national reference laboratories, network of national reference laboratories are doing this. It is closed system. It is not transparent. Nobody can use it outside of the network. And this is what we are doing to the left compared to sniff NMR method. We can, as you can see, we can, this is for wine, we can run up to 50 samples per day, while sniff NMR can do only 3 to 5 samples per day. We don't need reference data banks for comparison. And also we can use it for a lot of different matrices and different samples, and it can be used on borders. There are lots of more capabilities which are better than the system which is at this moment in use. So if there is, I don't know how to start this. How can I start this? Okay, in March 2021, this was accepted by the OIV, and now it is, yeah, you can. Can you go back? Yeah, just start the play. Just, yeah. But you need a sound. You need a sound because there is a comment. Can you turn the sound on?
I'd like to express my thanks for this work, which in fact illustrates a great deal of professionalism. And it's true that this offers great expectations to the sector. I would also like to point out that our speaker has indeed shown how to defend the producer. So thank you very much for this excellent work.
Okay, so this was from the OIV. EIM technology is now in step-by-step procedure for the new OIV resolution, which means it will be a global standard in 1 year. So we have laboratory services, projects and scientific cooperation and joint venture partnerships.
Mr. Smilovich, I have to ask you to wrap up. Your 5 minutes are over.
Yeah, okay. At this point, we want to share this information and to educate the people about food authenticity. As you can see, only in Serbia, 54% of our market is not authentic for wine. For honey is more than 80%. So this is our timeline. At the moment, we established the laboratory, which is now in the procedure for accreditation. And
okay,
now,
Mr. Smilovich, you have to be fair to other competitors. Your 5 minutes are up now. So
yeah,
please, we are moving to the questions of the jury. Thank you. Mr. Vladimir Pavlovich, who is with us here, the member of the jury, please go ahead.
I would like to ask Mr. Smarovic to come back to this slide that is showing the financials and funding needs, because it's important. So
yeah,
it will be also my question.
yeah, okay. So at the beginning, actually until now, everything we financed was from our own money. We have there are three partners in our company. And in first 7 years, we invested 250,000 euros to establish proof of concept, to work on a scientific and to develop demo equipment for this methodology.
Okay, we see that what you
So at this point,
we saw that you have now starting to generate revenues.
Yes.
So what are the first customers?
We have at this point we have four clients, which already, even though we are not accredited yet, they started to bring samples, and we generated in last 3 months approximately 15,000 euros. And actually,
can you go on the next slide to see your funding?
Actually,
needs?
last night we just received information that Brazilian National Reference Laboratory will buy our equipment in next 2 months. Yep. Okay. Capital raised, yeah. Funding needs. At this point, we are in fragile phase because we have to work in parallel on our accreditation and also to make revenue. And at this point, in next few months, we will need 10,000 euros for operations just to work. And after that, but already we can work with certification bodies. We are doing laboratory analysis for everybody who comes in, and we already making profit.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ms. Katarina Pavlovich, please.
Thank you, Mr. Smilovich, for the presentation. Tell us something about your specific go-to-market strategy and some markets that you target like at the near future.
Okay, so the strategy is that we would like to open laboratories like joint venture with partners in partnership in other markets, from wherever, in Europe, Germany, France. These are big markets for analysis, for authenticity. And as we can see now, because of this economic crisis, there is a bigger need for authenticity testing than for actual general quality controls. And also we are targeting North America and Latin America now, because it will be in the next few months. National Reference Laboratory, when she buys the equipment from Brazil, it opens up this market because national reference laboratories, they are on the budget and they cannot be for customers. So there will be great need for private laboratories to come in, to step in, to work on these concepts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander Delic, who is with us online.
So just help me to understand, you are selling the equipment, or you are selling the methodology, or you are selling the analysis?
At this point, we have two companies. We have SG ISOTECH and Analab. Analab is registered in Serbia, and it will do testing of authenticity for the region and also for Serbia. But we are SG ISOTECH as patent owners and a company who is engaged in research and development will be able to open partnerships with partners.
No, okay. Just let's ask me a very
also-
simple. It's very simple question because we don't have too much time. This laboratory that is buying your equipment from Brazil, are they buying hardware from you, or they're buying technology and then building on this technology their own hardware?
No, they are buying equipment, and the
So
license.
how much the money do you need to build the equipment? What is the cost of goods sold for the equipment that you are selling to the Brazilian laboratory in 2 months?
Well, the price, I would not like to talk about prices in general. I can say.
Okay, but let's speak in general what I'm interested in. Sorry to be very direct, but we have a short time. My question is, you said you need 10,000 euros for operations a month. Is this for a salary, or is this for the equipment? What I'm trying to look at is if we come as a Serbian.
Just operations of the lab. This is for.
So how much money are you trying to raise?
What?
How much money are you trying to raise?
Actually, at this point, we are looking for partners for joint venture for other markets. We are not trying to raise money for Serbia or region because we start to make traction, and we already make profits for it. It will be enough for this region so that we can establish a good business here. But we are open for joint venture and investors for other markets.
Okay,
thank you very much.
And sorry, just the last question from my side is, these patents that you are mentioning, they are registered worldwide or just in Serbia?
No, they are globally registered and they are granted, and we are already we are paying for these patents every year. So we have a new generation, just submit new patent application for the next generation of. It is in United States, Russian Federation, the whole European Union, Australia, and etc. Over 30 countries in the world.
Thank you, Mr. Smilovic.
Thank you.
We move now to the next presentation. While the jury is having their 2 minutes for the evaluation, please prepare Mr. Luis Rodriguez Gil. He will be next.
All right, thank you.
So give us a minute. Okay, I think we are fine. Mr. Gil, please go ahead.
Perfect. So, well, I'm Luis Rodriguez, and I'm the CTO and co-founder of LabsLand, which is an educational technology company. In our case, well, we believe that for fields such as engineering and physics and chemistry and electronics in schools and in universities, instructors need to provide their students with real practices, with real equipment so that they can learn properly. Basically, they are critical in those subjects. The issue is that for instructors and for those institutions, it's very hard to provide those practices because of cost and because of inconvenience. So how do we make this easier? Well, we provide access to the laboratories, to the devices that they would normally use, but they can do so through the internet. They can do so online. So basically, with a device such as a laptop, they can access the devices anywhere and anytime. This is an example of a remote laboratory. In this case, it's a remote laboratory for our robotics, sorry. And as you can see, it's real hardware and it can be controlled through the web interface that you see to the right. We provide access to real devices, so we need to have many devices. What we do is to sell the equipment that we design to institutions all around the world, and that way they can make it accessible in the network. So for example, those are in South Africa, those are in Costa Rica, those 4 are in the University of Washington in the US. We have over 51 laboratories in the network. The one earlier was just one example. And we have 3 types of customers. We have universities that purchase the labs and make it available for the network. They purchase from us. We also have institutions that do not have their own hardware. They simply want to access labs in the network and they pay us a subscription and they access for a period of time. And we even have some companies. For example, Intel themselves, the processor builder, they recommend us in their official website and they use us for their customer training. Regarding competition, we compete mostly with alternatives such as simulations. But of course, we have some significant advantages over simulations, such as the fact that, well, we are completely real. We just control real hardware online. So we have the best of both worlds. Regarding our market, well, so far we are focusing, as I mentioned earlier, in some specific fields, and our goal is to grow a lot in those and then to keep expanding into more areas. Regarding our strategy, so far we have 2 main goals. One is to keep growing in terms of the students that use us, because our income depends more or less directly on the number of students. And our second goal is to keep growing in terms of fields that we cover, of laboratories that we offer. Our core team is mainly 4 core people, which are Pablo and I. We are the co-founders. Aitor, who is our hardware expert, and José Luis Moya, who has over 20 years in education and in sales, and is our sales expert. Some interesting thing is that independent research, in fact, from a top university, such as the University of Washington, already demonstrates that our laboratories can be even more effective than traditional hands-on ones. We have also conducted some surveys ourselves, which show that customers that use our solution normally are very willing to recommend us to other instructors, which is a very important metric for us. Regarding traction, we collaborate at the moment with 27 universities in 14 different countries, who are universities that create labs with us and that purchase our equipment, but we have many more institutions, around 100, that use our solution without having hardware themselves. Also, we have been growing in terms of sessions, in laboratory sessions that we offer exponentially, and of course, we hope to keep that growth in the future. And well, regarding our needs, basically, so far we have been bootstrapped. We have had, quite a significant amount thanks to equity-free funding, thanks to our own sales, thanks to some awards that we have won and some programs. But now our goal is to grow faster. So for that, we are going to be organizing a seed round this half of the year, basically. With our goal with that round will basically be to try to expand our reach about 5 times. We calculate that we can achieve of labs. We also believe that we can multiply our sales by 3, basically, particularly with a sales team member in the US and a sales team member in the European Union. And finally, we also have some features in mind that we believe will add value to all our existing labs, and that will be based mainly on virtual reality and some other technologies.
Mr. Gill, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And well, thank you for having me here.
To our jury members, please, Mr. Vladimir Pavlovich.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Can you just clarify about your fundraising? What is the size of the funds that you are targeting a seed round? And regarding current traction, what are your current revenues?
Yeah, well, at the moment, basically, we are still to start the round, so we will do it quite soon, and probably it will be a seed sized round, so something between 600,000 euros and €1 million. We would be very happy to give more details on a one-to-one basis, I mean, but we haven't been able to put financial details here because of the public nature of this presentation. Regarding traction, what was the question, sorry?
The question is, what are your current revenues?
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, we can't really put public financial details here, but I can give you an overview, which is basically that we have been able to obtain so far more than 300,000 euros in equity-free funding in projects and from customers. So basically, we have been growing so far. In fact, most of the revenue has come from universities that purchase the equipment and from specific projects with them to increase the range of labs. But we want to keep growing and keep basically boosting the part about subscriptions that I mentioned earlier. So far, the amount that we get from subscription is relatively low with respect to the hardware sales.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome.
Next question.
I would like you to very shortly tell us your unique selling point, your USP.
Yeah, basically our unique selling point is that we can provide access to real laboratories. So basically the experience that universities, that the schools can get is completely real versus simulations or other alternatives in which basically they are simply providing a simulation, a virtual reality that isn't really realistic in many cases, and that often doesn't fit the needs.
Okay, thank you. Since we have been experiencing different options for remote learning, you mentioned at the one of the last slides something regarding virtual reality, and basically since in education we have already seen solutions related to the concept of VR, how do you think you will compete with that, or how fast you will be able to move forward in that direction?
Yeah, that's a great question. Basically, we have the idea not to create a completely virtual reality based solution, but rather to extend our solution with virtual reality. Particularly, one of the things you typically do in our labs is, for example, to control a robot with an Arduino device. Or we have other labs, for example, with Intel, in which you control an industrial device. The industrial device is real and it's going to remain real in the future. But what we intend to do is to enable universities to control virtual environments, to control virtual models using the real device. So basically, you will be able to have something very expensive or something very dangerous, such as a virtual atomic power station, but you will be able to control it with the real hardware. So students will be able to have the full advantages of learning with a real device.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you.
Don't worry,
to move to the next question. Mr. Alexander Bielic, who is with us online. Go ahead.
Sorry, again, a quick question regarding the revenues. Who is in the end the paying customer? The students, the institutions, or who is generating revenue for you?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's a bit complex, so maybe I haven't put it here properly, but basically we are a two-sided market, but with some advantage, which is that all sides pay something to us. So basically we have some universities that are the main ones we collaborate with. They pay us basically to purchase the equipment and to create labs with us. But though in the agreement we have with them is that they allow other people in the network to use the labs. So there are also institutions which do not have hardware at all, and they pay us a subscription, and in exchange of that subscription, they can access every lab in the network. Basically, the labs from the other universities that are purchasing the hardware.
So the number of students you show us that needs to grow, it doesn't directly depends on you. So you are not the one who is doing direct marketing towards the student. This is what the institution is doing, right?
Actually, we also do the direct marketing. I mean, if you go to our website, basically, we give access to the labs in a uniform way. So you don't know which labs you are accessing. Basically, we split the load. Yeah.
And you're asking for a 300,000, if I understood properly, right?
No, sorry. Sorry, I didn't explain that properly. Basically, so far we have been bootstrapped with around 300,000, but our seed round will probably be in the 600 to 1 million range.
Okay, and what is the equity that you give for 600 to 1 million range?
We still have to give you specifics. We will be happy if you want in the future to speak about more details in a one-to-one basis, but yeah, that's yet to be determined.
Okay, thank you. We have
Thank
to
you very much.
move on now to the evaluation of your presentation, while the next presenter is going to prepare himself. Next presenter, Mr. Nikola Lukicic, please. Please wait just a little more.
1, 2. Okay.
Yes, I think we are set and ready, please.
Okay. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nikola Lukicic. I'm the founder and CEO of a startup based in Novi Sad called Farmbot. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present in front of you today. And let me just start out by saying that every good product comes out of a pure necessity, and it's the same thing with our product here today. 385 million people get pesticide poisoning annually. I'm talking about our target group, which is mainly wine and fruit producers. Also, about 11,000 deaths are caused by tractors rolling over on steep terrain. And last but not least, the lack of human labor is a huge problem in all aspects of agriculture, mainly because of the aging ag workforce population. So it was clear to us that we need to automate things and isolate the human factor out of the equation by using new technologies. Our solution is a robotic platform that is remotely operated. It uses GPS navigation for autonomous movement and is mainly used for mowing and spraying, but it can utilize over 20 different cultivator attachments that are already on the market. It is a robust, reliable, compact tool that always gets the job done. And what differentiates us from the competitor is, first of all, we are able to customize each of the machines towards the end user's specific needs, and also the cost. For the price of one cultivator, we are able to have a work output of one of the most expensive landscaping equipment on the market today. When talking about the market, we fit right in between the two categories. One category is a small tractor, ride-on mowers and cultivators, and the other segment is a mid-range robotic mower market. And we would like to take a small piece of that $6.3 billion cake with a 12.9% annual growth rate. Our revenue and business model is based on service. We would like to in the first year, we are planning on renting our equipment mainly for mowing and spraying and reinvesting that money towards manufacturing. Manufacturing is mainly concentrated towards the B2B and B2C clients. And our strategy is to manufacture the fleet of rovers for getting the recurring revenue in the first year. Also finish up on the IP protection and certification processes, and also further develop the technology with the ability to swarm control the fleet of rovers, as well as to be able to collect data while doing this. This year, we are planning on selling 25 units. So far, we sold 4. Also, we want to acquire additional 3 to 5 contracts for serviceable areas with local wineries. And then next year, the plan is to sell 150 units by penetrating the EU market. In the 2-year period, we will plan to double the sales by penetrating the global market. I'm very confident in our team to be able to provide these kind of products to the market. We have a vast experience in drone technology. In our last company, for the last 10 years, we've been developing aerial platforms for terrain mapping and aerial video. And we are a very diverse bunch of professionals. When it comes to financial forecasts, we have 3 possible scenarios. The worst scenario is we reinvest the money from service into production. The realistic scenario, which we just found out a couple of days ago, would be to get grant money from which we did from innovation fund and reinvest that grant money along with the service money into production expansion. And the best case scenario would be to have grant money and side investor funds to expand on the production. We're looking for an investment of 400,000 euros in order to finish up on the construction and adaptation of our workshop facility. We'll have production line ready, also salaries for 7 employees for the next 24 months, as well as getting stock for spare parts and parts for production. Also, there's costs of sales and utility costs for the 12th. Thank you for your time, and we're open for questions.
Thank you. So we move straight ahead to the question, Mr. Pavlovich.
May I just ask you to come back to this final slide? The first question, yes, this one. Since you're a startup, you are penetrating the market. Do you think that this marketing and cost of sales are, let's say, underestimated in this investment?
Something that we don't think they're underestimated because we are in direct contact with our target group. The plan was to sell 50 units in the domestic market so we can get feedback for the performance of the machines. And we are always constantly in direct contact with the target groups. We have a waiting list of 20 units already. We just lack the capacity for production in order to scale up.
Okay, you mentioned that you sold already 4 units, and do you have any traction in the revenues from the renting of your?
We have some traction. This year we started with 1 unit. From the sales, we managed to get 30,000 euros from the sales, and from the service, it was about say 5,500 euros.
Okay,
this year.
And what you are going to offer for this 400,000 equity investments? What percentage of the equity?
20% of the equity.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Pavlovich.
Thank you. I would like you to explain the solution. Maybe I did not quite understand because you mentioned also mowing and spraying. And related to that, like what is the specific value proposition for your customer?
Safety is number one. You're able to isolate the operator from the risk zone. Those are the riskiest things that are happening on fields when it comes to maintaining fields. So we are able to isolate the human and automate those processes by using our equipment. So basically doing the dirty, dull, and dangerous things for you and having fun while doing it.
I understand. So since there are so many options for, let's say, smart fleets of whatever types of vehicles, like how is this solution that you have different from the competition besides the price, which I understood?
Definitely multi-functionality. We were able to implement the attachment drivetrain for the tools that are already on the market. We are using cultivator tools, and it's a market that's already quite developed. So we don't have those additional costs for developing tools. We implement those tools for cultivators so people can basically robotize those tools that they already might have in their yards with the cultivator.
There's a PTO shaft in the front with a quick release, and you can change the different attachments in 15 to 20 seconds.
Thank you very much. Mr. Alexander Gevich, please.
Yes, my general concern is this initial investment and the salaries of 7 employees. Having worked in the production for a long time, I think that you will find a very hard challenge in getting employees for just this amount of money, but okay. What I'm interested in, outside of Serbia and the region, where do you see ability to sell this?
We've already started negotiations with a partner in the United States. United States is a really futile market for this kind of equipment. Also European Union, they have.
So let's stick on the US. If you agree with the partner in US, how do you see this going forward? Are you developing a factory there with the line workers producing the products there, or you still plan to produce it here in Serbia and then transport it and export it all the way to the US?
Yeah, we would like to establish an assembly line here in Serbia, but we will have supply chain out from outside of Serbia. The good thing is about this machine is that we basically the supply is 85% of all the parts on the robot is from Serbia. It is a very pragmatic design. We basically utilized off-the-shelf components in a very unique and pragmatic way. So we're able to avoid additional manufacturing costs. Basically, it boils down to we want to do the assembly with an IP that we have.
Is this IP registered and patented or no?
Yeah.
Worldwide?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we are going to our jury to evaluate your pitch. While I ask the next presenter to prepare himself, Mr. Peter Gottfeld.
Okay. The other one is still sharing, so I cannot share. Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Gottfeld. Your time is starting now.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much. My name is Peter Gottfeld. I'm co-founder of Inicare, and I've been in the medical industry for more than 20 years. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we noticed an urgent need for remote monitoring solutions due to the rapid deterioration of admitted patients and stringent isolation protocols. Furthermore, this need will be prolonged after this pandemic due to generic parameters measured and increased shortage of nursing staff. Our solution, Unicare, automates standardized tasks such as measurement of temperature, blood pressure, saturation, and heart rate, and alarms when values are outside predefined boundaries. Our value proposition extends not only to nurses who are willing to work with this solution, but also to physicians and hospital finance departments, due to the fact that the readmission rate to intensive care for intensive treatment can be reduced using our device. Unicare is the only device that can measure heart rate, blood pressure, temperature, and saturation from a single location on the body, which is a wrist-worn device. And it's truly wireless. Inicare is the only system which has the sensor carrier, which is disposable and which guarantees patient hygiene and is easier to connect for nursing staff and can be easily rolled out because we use the hospital IT infrastructure. Our proven pay-per-use business model and distribution through an existing network of local resellers ensures a rapid growth towards 85 million revenue in 2028. Our total market is reflected by the number of hospital beds outside the intensive and cardiac departments. In the US and Europe, that exceed the 1.5 billion beds. Our team consists of people with either a scientific, technical background or a business background, and we have a backing of medical people. Our projected revenue of 85 million, 90% of those is based on recurring revenue, consumables, and a service fee, and 10% of capital purchase of a bedside terminal, with an overall growth of 39%. Inicare is looking for 1 million investment. 500,000 to complete the product development, finish the second, since we've done already one, clinical evaluation, and complete the registration process by Q1 2023. The second 500,000 will be used to gain market entry in both Europe and US. Thanks very much for this opportunity to present Inicare, and if there are any questions, I'm more than willing to take them now.
Thank you. I would first like to ask Mr. Alexander Bejevic, who is with us online, to ask his set of questions.
I truly love the idea that you're proposing. And have you implemented in certain hospitals?
Well, the problem with medical there is that you need to have first a medical device regulation approval before you implement this. We have done a clinical evaluation in a nursing home at a private nursing home in Skopje, Northern Macedonia. And currently we are signing up different pilot sites there of hospitals who are willing to evaluate this part. As part of this medical device regulation, we need to have a medical evaluation in place as well. So that will be done by the last quarter of 2022 in the University Hospital in Leuven.
Okay. This is why I'm asking you, because I know that the regulation for medical devices, and depending which class of medical devices is,
it's class 2A.
Class 2A. It's very hard, and especially when you enter a new market such as US, it doesn't mean that it's allowed automatically if you have it in the other.
For the US, you need to have an FDA approval, and the FDA approval can be done based on a 510K registration track, which is by far easier at the moment than a medical device regulation in Europe.
Okay. Last but not the least, if I missed it, what is the investment and what is the equity that you're giving for this investment?
Okay, the investment is 1 million, based in two tranches, 500,000, 500,000. And currently we are discussing with multiple investors. And the total valuation post money will be in the range between 6 and 7 million euros.
So you are giving away around 15 to 20% of equity, if I understand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We move to Mr. Vladimir Pavlovic.
Regarding, we saw your projection about the revenues in 2024. What are your current revenues?
0.
Okay.
We cannot sell anything because we are based in the medical field.
Yes. And can you underline what are your plans for the exit strategy for you and your investor?
Yeah, typically and I've done this multiple times, is after you've proven the traction in the market and growth to 4 or 5 million. Probably Philips or Paquet or any other big player in the medical field will purchase the company.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Pavlovic, please.
Since you're in the research and development stage right now and still, let's say, far from the market, have you received any research funds for this, or how have you financed?
To date, we have more than 720,000 in there, partially loans from the Ministry of Economic Affairs and partially grants such as SMART4ALL, but also other things like EIT Health, and there are some local grants as well.
Thank you. And can you explain to us, related to your customers, if targeted customers are, let's say, hospitals? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. How much is this actually raising the costs of treatments? I mean, we understand that patient safety and well-being is the top priority for them. But since we know that everybody's cutting down on budgets, how are they going to deal with raised costs for treatments?
But there are two reductions in cost there. One obviously is if you look at competitors which are actually selling devices to date, that's $75 per patch, and the patch will last for 2 days. Our pitch price, average sales price, will be around 10 euros per night stay for a total duration of seven days. So that's a raise of 70 to 80 euros per patient per hospital admission. If you look at the readmittance rate, for example, onto intensive care, one patient readmitted to the intensive care instead of the general care, you can, well, that's a multitude. That's a tenfold minimum there. So if you reduce those, it will pay for 160 patients if you only reduce by one.
Understand. Just a quick question. How many hospitals are actually switching to this type of patients monitoring?
There are a lot, for two main reasons. One of which is a medical professional, medical legal reasons. Sometimes they find patients lying dead in their bed during their hospital stay. So, and then they get all these awful questions. And that's purely because of lack of staff. Yeah, so because of lack of staff, the protocol which has been defined by the worldwide societies is to measure at least once every 8 hours the temperature and the heart and the blood pressure.
Thank you.
And at the moment, that's not.
Sorry, Mr. Gottfried, we have to wrap up. Thank you for your presentation. We give time for the jury members to evaluate this, and I would like to ask next presenter to prepare himself, Mr. Nikola Milojevic from Energy Pulse. Sorry, Mr. Milovan Milojevic. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Milovan, and I'm a co-founder of Energy Pulse. And with Energy Pulse, the system dynamics can literally be on a tray. So the problem we are solving is related to the industry, and the factories are practically treasure troves of data where the less than 1% of those data is actually used. This means that it takes much time, and it's complicated to conclude the decision-making process, and the audits within the systems are practically static. There are also incomplete quantification procedures, while the conventional technology is rather expensive, non-flexible, and non-scalable. Everything I mentioned relates to the poor health condition system and maintenance management. Our solution is practically covered in both producing hardware and software devices. In terms of hardware devices, we have already finalized 4 types of device: encoder shield, current profiler, thermal tube, and air tracker. These all communicate with the digital mind. It's an aggregator for all of this data acquisition. We are currently developing the Stratosphere. It's our own networking infrastructure, and to ensure the reliable and user-friendly, easy-to-use manipulation. So with this, practically, we are dealing with AIoT. We are distributing devices on the edge, powered with modern AI algorithms, which highly outperform conventional SCADA system, easily are integratable in ERP, MAS, and also can be a great support to the SCADA systems. so we carefully identified our competition, and we are doing that all the time. And we identified 10 plus, more than 100 companies focused on the data acquisition devices, but which are non-smart oriented devices. There are also 10 plus major competitors like Siemens, ABB, Schneider Electric, etc. But here we don't see them as competitors. We see them as a good examples from which we can learn. But the real competitors we see is the do-it-yourself solution markets, because more and more companies, more and more people are oriented to make something by themselves. However, our advantages comes in competitive price, because our price is practically related to these non-smart devices. We can easily and fast produce solutions to customer-tailored problems, and our nodes are extremely scalable. We're faster in operation than most of existing solutions for someone more than 100 times. And we are developing a concept of flexible automation. So you may ask, why now? Especially now, energy is a hot topic. We can see that from the Russia and the Ukraine. But for example, IoT and energy efficiency market in 2020, according to Gartner, was more than 300 billion. What is more interesting is that this market is going to practically bubble, because according to Bloomberg, in 2026, this will reach more than 1,000 billions. But what is more interesting is this growth rate, because this will double by the 2029. We already have early adopters in the textile industry and also in metal forming industry. We made profits about 25K euro, and because it's really strongly related to the research, we have assured grants prices through a variety of competitions more than 100K. Our target customers are practically foreign representatives on domestic markets. In Serbia, currently there is more than 200 companies. And this is a good strategy because we can act locally, but reach globally. And this was the case, for example, with Fiorano Macedonia. We had devices in Sombor, and then we have devices in Sri Lanka. We also put ourselves in the position from our clients and create this value proposition canvas, just to show that we are aware what are their jobs, what are their pains, what are their gains, and how we can help with economics, with the economics from the foreign partner and vendor. Planned revenues.
Mr. Milovic, please wrap up. You have 10 seconds left.
10 seconds, just a moment. So this is the financial perspective. Reach out channels, the B2B sales. Sorry. So we started in 2018, and we plan to reach revenue deals from 420K by the end of 2022 and the first quarter in 2023.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
The first question from Mr. Alexander Galic.
It's very simple. You showed the slide that I wanted to see. You're raising 2 million to last us 2 months. What do you offer?
In terms of percentage?
Yeah.
In this case, we will try to stick about 7%. Because the value is much higher when reached. So wait.
You say that your pre-money valuation now, if you give 7% for 2 million, yes, your current valuation is above 25 million euros.
I didn't hear you well, sorry.
If you say that you give 7% for 2 million euros, your projection is how big, or what is valuation of your company now?
We did not manage to do the evaluation, but for example, let's say that one device produced increases its value on the market about 10 times. And
I understand, but when you're asking money from investors, you need to know the valuation. So if your valuation is 2 million for 7%, that in my eyes means that your valuation of your company today, not what will be in 5 years' time, today or whatever in 3 years' time, is 25 million euros. Correct?
Well, I don't know that.
Okay, no more questions. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Vladimir Pavlovich.
Can you go back on these previous slides with your road map and
This one?
yes?
Okay.
So basically you are now generating this 420K euros. This is the plan for the 2022. What are the revenues in first part of this year?
In the for example, revenues in the first part of the 2022, we didn't sell anything, but the sales were done in the previous year. And because we got the research grant, we focused this on research. But the idea is to have 150 various devices by the end of the year.
Okay, and you mentioned also on one of the previous slides that you have the profit of 25K.
Yes. For example, that is about 20 devices implemented in it. Okay. But this is the structure. For example, for the revenues, main part of income comes from implementation. It's roughly a little less than 60%. Then licensing in terms of hardware and software, depending on the package, and that depends on the scale of the factory. Small amount comes from consulting. We need to consolidate and to integrate to make it the customer specific. And it turned out that the customers want the more specific and customized care packs, and this is the good strategy which Hewlett-Packard introduced years ago.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ms. Katerina Pavlovich.
Since you already have paying customers, what do they communicate to you related to their user experiences for the device?
This is extremely important because in that terms we are getting feedbacks how to develop our devices, and we pay much attention to this because from this relationship we are practically developing other devices and scaling up the existing ones. So, but the concrete ways are via email and direct visits. And
so you basically validated what you expected to in the market.
Yes, yes. For example, another term of revenue is which is extremely popular today are data sets, good data sets for AI modeling. So we are also thinking about to go in this field.
In the future. Okay, and related to let's say the second half of this year and maybe next year, like what would you identify as high risk for your business?
Definitely the risks already are occurring in the semiconductor industry. So for example, if the production is planned for now, it will last at least 18 months, 18 to 24 months. We had that problem during the beginning of the year. Now it's stabilizing a little bit, but for example, the other problem is like the Serbia, as where we are here now, is the world of the country of the third world. So practically every other main players will get the components faster than us. So that is the main risk.
Thank you very much. We now give jury time to evaluate your presentation.
Thank you.
And we prepare for the next one, which will be Mr. Haris Siakantaris from Cyclopolis.
So can I start sharing my screen?
Just a few more moments, please. Mr. Siakantaris, the floor is yours.
So thank you. Good morning. I'm Haris Yakantaris. I'm a co-owner and general manager of Cyclopolis Bike Sharing Systems, a Greek bike sharing company. And we have noticed a serious gap in the market. The problem is that there are no data. There's a huge lack of data on a local level regarding certain air pollutants, which are of local nature, and namely particulate matters. And then in parallel, the cost of one meteorological station is about 10,000 euros each, which could measure such pollutants. Now, in terms of effects, PMs have serious effects on human health. The European Environment Agency reports 500,000 deaths in 2018 in the European Union itself. And also, it also reports that a decrease of 1 milligram per square meter of PM 2.5 could lead to an economic growth in the European Union of 1%. Now, the solution that we have come up with is equipping shared fleets with an inexpensive sensor kit, and which can give us local data on a 25 to 30 times cheaper than a fixed station. And furthermore, the shared fleet is moving anyway without an extra cost, is going anywhere, so we can have rich data and reveal pollution hotspots. So this is our prototype, and this is on the right-hand side of the screen, a set of data that we have gathered from that the bicycle can gather. In terms of competition, there are several companies who are working on equipping bicycles or e-scooters with sensors. But first of all, not all of them are addressing shared fleets, so you don't have all the advantages for one, and then it's a completely different world when you are trying to develop a product for a shared fleet in terms of safety and autonomy and so on and so forth. Then they don't all address air quality, and thirdly, it's not always an independent device. I mean that, for example, the last two competitors are equipping their e-scooters with an embedded device in the scooter. So it's not a product by itself. So I assume that we have a unique value proposition for equipping shared fleets with a mobile air quality monitoring system. Our business model is that we are selling sensor kits, the accompanying services, I mean installation, maintenance, and customization, and then end-to-end services for feeding smart cities platforms, for example, or even giving the end-to-end service. I mean, even the end users presentation layer, I mean, a platform and a mobile app. Our customers are potentially any shared fleet owner or operator, public or private. The market is about 10 million shared vehicles as we speak, bikes and e-scooters, and keeps growing. We consider our main market Europe and the Americas. So this leads us to a 5 million vehicles target market. Later this year, in December, we're doing a pilot in Merano, Italy, and Athens, and mid of 23 in Chania, a more extensive pilot with 50 kits on their shared fleet. In terms of strategy, we're already in the market. In this market, we are operating in it. So our existing clientele, we have more than 25 installations in Greece already. And we know the sharing systems market because we are part of it. But we need to go international, we need to go abroad, so we're thinking of local distributors. We already have a cooperation with Grupo FOS for Italy and Lithuania. And of course, we consider smart cities trade fairs our habitat. We think it's going to be a good solution. Our team is multidisciplinary. and it's in terms of business and our technical manager who is already with us. We have industrial designers, software engineering, and electronics engineering skills, and we're together for quite long. So
please wrap up. You have
yeah. So in terms of of our financial model, it ends up to approximately 30% EBITDA for year 3, the return on equity approximately 100% for year 3, and for year 3 again more than 1 million EBITDA.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are going to give floor to our jury, Mr. Alexander Belic, as the first with his first questions.
A good presentation, because you couldn't finish we can show this slide. So you're asking for 500K. What is the equity that you're offering?
Sorry, what is the equity? What?
Yes. You're needing funds of 500,000 from investors. So what is the equity of the company that you're offering?
We'll have to see it. I don't have an answer to this.
Okay, but if you plan that in third year you have a profit of 1.2 million, what is the valuation that you see of the company, let's say in 3 to 5 years?
Well, it should be around 1 million or something like this.
Okay. And tell me, besides the Greece, what other markets do you plan to expand and how fast? So besides Greece and Lithuania?
I think the European Union and the Americas, they're mostly sensitive in terms of air quality. So these should be our target markets for a start. For example, if you would allow me, in Greece, we already have a call regarding smart cities, and it's naming smart equipment for measuring air quality.
Understood. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Vladimir Pavlovich.
Can you explain us who is your final customer who pay for your services?
The final customer is, like I said, any bike, not necessarily bike, any shared fleet owner or operator. And this is mainly it's governmental authorities, but there are also private institutions. I mean, and this is it, the shared fleet owners. It could be a private institution, could be public, it could be a mix of them, and so on and so forth.
I understand if it's public, that the owner of that shares fleet, that the public owner could be interested for the quality of the air. But if it's a private owner of the fleet of the bikes, of the scooters, why he would pay for this sensor when he's not generating any revenues from that? Can he sell those data to some final beneficiary, or what to do in that case?
For one, the first part of the question is because they can differentiate their offer, because there's big discussion about their quality lately, the last couple of years. So this is the question this is the answer to your first question. Then next, if they can sell data, right? This was the question. Did I get it right, sir?
If the owner of the fleet is the private entity, why he or she would pay for your services? Because can he or she sell those data to someone else? Because having your sensors on the bikes and gathering data will not generate additional revenues for him.
Yes, like I said, we don't know this yet. We're examining this. For the time being, I don't think there's a huge market out there for the data itself, apart from governmental authorities. And this is it. But you can always go to the retail market and sell this data. You know, some application, the access to an application that gives you such information.
Thank you, Ms. Katerina Pavlovich.
Related to your competition, you mentioned sniffer bikes. This is already developed and implemented concept in Netherlands and functioning quite well. So I don't quite understand the difference and how you are going to deal with the competition like that, since they are already in the market. And is your platform any different in any way, in any feature compared to them, or is that pretty much the same? You mentioned the difference in the shared fleet, but this is something that can easily be overcome.
I'm afraid that I shouldn't agree in your last comment. It's not really easy to overcome, because firstly you have to mount it in a safe way. I mean, it's a completely different world if I have a kit and put it on my private bicycle, which I'm taking care of, and then maybe unplug it and so on and so forth. Shared bicycles or scooters are all the time on the road. So you have specific requirements on the safely mounting it and its autonomy and so on and so forth. So yes, so it's not the same thing, because sniffer bikes goes to private bicycles.
Okay, and just what stage of your, let's say, life cycle you're in right now?
In technical terms, you mean?
Yes.
We have a tested prototype, lab prototype, and like I said, soon enough we're gonna start our pilot. So it's a quite much, well, not a completely mature technology, but it's getting there soon enough. Like I said, in a year from now, we're gonna have to do our pilot in Hania with 40 kits. So. Tested and so on and so forth.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Siakontaris.
You're welcome.
We're giving now a jury to evaluate your presentation. And after that, we'll be moving to the final presentation for this session by Milan Kishikapa from Aedes coop.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, hello.
Hello, and please wait. Give us a few moments.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, Mr. Kishikapa, we are ready for you.
Okay, let us share screen.
Hello, my name is Milovan. I'm civil engineer.
My name is Jelena, and we will present you our innovation named Stofa Tiles. Until now, contractors have been facing 2 to 5 times higher price of asset construction, since they have to meet the requirements of energy efficiency. They look for solutions that will have high quality and low price, cheap sub-construction, and low price installation. Stofa Tiles have it all, like high quality design like natural stone, 95% lower price of sub-construction, and 2 to 3 times larger dimensions than the facade tiles of competitors. Our first novelty are lightweight concretes, which are patent, made with 9 low-priced raw materials. Half of these raw materials are recycled industrial waste, which are cheap both on local and foreign markets. And our second novelty will be originally designed molds for industrial production. Our goal is to apply large competitive advantages to industrial production, satisfying SDG 8 and 9, which means we substitute natural resources with 50% of the recycled industrial waste, and we will have 15% of energy savings. In the EU, over 92% of producers of facade tiles are small manual producers. Our technologies are among the first in Europe to enable industrial production of facade tiles on low-priced equipment. The tables show the superiority and the competitive advantages of Stofa tiles when compared to the highest quality facade tiles of competitors. Our key customers on target markets are warehouses. Those customers want to expand their offers to meet the demand quantities. Our value proposition for them will be expanding their offers and decreasing profit up to 20%. And construction companies with purchasing directly from producers, our value proposition for them are lowering their price through lower price of acetals, lower sub-construction costs, and less workers. In total, savings are up to 40% comparing to artificial tiles of competitors. And both groups of ideal customers are very dominant in target markets for construction materials, for energy efficiency, old new buildings. The first market we will enter is Serbian market. Its potential is estimated around 9 million euro. The market of the region has 3 times larger market potential, and the region of Italy, Austria, Germany have 4 times larger potential than the Serbian market. In mid-23, we plan to enter into Serbian market. In 24, we plan to enter in the region, and 25, we plan to enter into regions of Italy, Austria, and Germany. We plan to sell over 50% of sofa tiles through warehouses. No existing competitors on the market can offer their facet tiles through warehouses. This is why this is our way of introducing sofa tiles on the market through the warehouses, and we can fulfill all requirements and demand. Customer acquisition cost for Serbia will be 885 euro. The goal of this project is to acquire 6% of market of Serbia and the region, and 0.01 up to 0.03% of markets of Italy, Austria, and Germany. In the next 2 years, profit will be made by selling sofa tiles, and after that, it is possible to sell technology. Our multidisciplinary team is composed of top experts with profound experience in design and construction of contemporary buildings produced of facet tiles. The team has a well-balanced ratio of technical and business parts with 35 years of experience in creation, innovation, and production of field of construction. Here you can see our worst, realistic, and best scenario, and the best scenario will be carried out together with 2 large and 80 small production partners in Serbia in order to meet the minimal needs of buyers in Italy, Austria, and Germany. Our break-even point in a worst-case scenario would happen in the end of 23 or in the first part of 24, but in a best-case scenario, it would be in the end of 23. And on the last slide, we can see how many costs we have per every step that was calculated. Thank you for your attention, and we are open for your questions.
Thank you very much. Again, we are going first to our online jury member, Mr. Alexander Belic.
Thank you, Jelena and Milovan. Very good presentation, and I think it's very, very relevant at this point of time because of the cost of the construction. Just a quick check. If I look at properly on your slide with profit, you are planning to earn around if I calculate it correctly, around 13 million euros. The slide before, 13 million euros in profit. Did I saw it correctly or no? No, the next.
No.
1.3 million next.
Yeah.
Slide.
No, next, this one. So realistic scenario, if I calculate correctly, 1.3 million euros until 2027 would be your profit. 424 plus 353 plus 3 plus 250, around 1.3 million euros is a profit, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you're asking for 1.2 million on investment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what is the
for industrial production?
For industrial production.
Okay, understood. So what is the equity that you're giving of your company in return for 1.2 million of investment?
Together with our partners, we will join there with 500,000 of our money to buy our equipment and start industrial production and to patent our.
Okay, so how much are you looking to raise?
Excuse me?
How much are you looking to raise from investors?
We are looking for 1.2 million, and we will join our 500,000.
Okay, and what is the equity of the company that you are planning to give for this 1.2 million?
Excuse me,
Koliko ćemo isto ubaciti?
Koliko procenata vlasništva nad kompanijom planirate da date za 1.200.000 eura koje tražite?
Stvar pregovora.
It's not a thing of negotiation. You need to know the figure right now.
Maybe 50%.
Okay.
Maybe 50%.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We move to the question by Vladimir Pavlovich.
I will start with a question regarding this slide. It's very interesting for me. Are you raising 1.2 million or 1.244335?
Yeah, the number on the slide, but it was long to read.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Just can you get back to the slides when you calculated the cost of customer acquisition?
Okay. This slide. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You have less than 1,000 euro for the customer acquisition. What is the expected revenue for let's say one customer?
Czekam prikupę.
Per year?
Yes, per year or over the lifetime of your cooperation.
House 200 euros. Warehouses.
Warehouses?
7,000 euros and construction company 36,000 euros.
Okay.
It's minimum.
Okay, thank you. And finally, our last jury member, Elena Pavlovich.
Maybe you mentioned, but I would like you to point out your competition, producers of other types of similar materials.
Okay.
What would be your standout point or unique selling point?
Okay. We think that our main advantages are here in Serbia because we can have a lower priced materials that we can use, and like salaries and working potential here is less than EU or Italy or Austria. And we have natural like design, and also we have a very higher dimensions, but there is a much less weight, and so it's simple to implement, and we don't need sub-construction like other companies, and that makes a huge potential for implementation of these tiles.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I thank to the jury members and I thank to all the presenters. And we are now going to withdraw, the panel will withdraw to make the final decision about the winners. We'll resume the session at 11:30 after the rest of the participants get a coffee break, and we will announce the pitching event winners. Thank you.
Thank you all.